Hi, my name is John Brink. Thank you for joining us. You're watching a history of the BC forest industry. Hi, my name is John Brink. Thank you for joining us. You're watching a history of the BC forest industry. And my guest today is Ashley Sidhu, and Ashley has an amazing career, and Ashley drives logging trucks in the northern BC. So she's one of the pioneers driving a logging truck. So tell us a little bit about your background, Ashley. Are you from the area originally?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Prince George. My dad actually came from India, him and his family, and I started driving a logging truck I just hit my 1 year, so it's pretty exciting. I've come a long ways for sure. I'm still learning every single day. I learn something new. Yeah.
But and your background, your dad then is also in the business, and
yeah. So my dad owns the business.
Okay.
So there's Mallet Trucking and there's Mallet Transport. My uncle has Mallet Transport. He does he hauls freight and lumber and logging, and then my dad just does the logging trucks.
So your uncle is highway and off highway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then your dad, Mallet Trucking, does just the logging.
Yeah.
How many trucks does he have?
So my dad has about 15, and then between my dad and uncle, there's probably about 25 or something like that.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you said initially when you started, how did you get even into the truck? And these trucks are so large, because if I see a fully loaded trucking truck, it could be 60,000 kilograms.
Yeah, exactly. So I got into it. I was managing a couple places in Prince George, the Twisted Cork restaurant and the Black Clover pub. And I tend to, like, whenever I'm working in a job, I always, like, I need to climb to the top, and then I need to keep moving forward. Like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And
Yeah.
I was at my my top point, and I couldn't really go any further in the company, and I needed a change. So I ended up quitting, and I went traveling. I went to India actually to see where my dad was born. I went to the exact house he was born in.
In the Punjab?
Yeah. So actually, the company name comes from the village that my dad and uncle were born in.
I was wondering.
Or my dad was born in there.
So
yeah.
what does it mean, your company name?
Yeah, it's just the name of the village in India.
Mela.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it came from. And then, yeah, my dad said to me, he said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Nothing. And then he said, okay, well, you should go get your class 1. It's a good fallback plan. You don't have to drive. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But at least you always have an option to make money.
So the class 1 is being able to drive a big truck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you did that.
Yeah, so I did that. And then I started training right away with my dad, my brother, and a few other employees at Mallet Trucking. And yeah, I trained for just about a year with
So
them.
how does that go? Because there you have this big truck and with the long trailer, and then say, now you start training, you drive around the yard a bit, and then you say, go to Fort St. James and haul logs. Not like that, right?
No. Yeah, no, at first I just shadowed, so I would just sit in the passenger seat and listen to what they had to say about what I have to do and whatnot, and watch and pay close attention to what they're doing.
Right.
And then, yeah, and then eventually my dad's just, get in the seat, here you go.
Yeah.
And then, so I started just driving just empty around, and then, yeah, then moved up to the logs.
Yeah, so then you would start driving with your dad, you go to Fort St. James, you may be driving a distance, and then on the load coming back, you would initially just be a passenger, watch him going through the gears, and then slowly he would work you into the driver's seat,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
Now the other thing about it, when I see these big logging trucks, there are, there must be 30 tires underneath it. There's usually, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a long hauler, that is a 3-length or a full-length log, then you have something like 6 axles on the back and then 1 driving axle.
Yeah, so mine is 7 axles and there's 26 tires altogether.
26 tires.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, you know, like now where we are sitting right now, it's like today you just came back from hauling a load from Fort St. James. Yeah. So you started out at what time in the morning?
Today I left at 4.
At 4 o'clock in the meaning leaving at 4, you got up at 3 or earlier.
Yeah, 3:30. I push it sometimes. Snooze, snooze.
Yeah. And so you took the truck, and where did you go today?
So I went up just past the Leo Creek Road, and then it's a really nice haul. I only went, it's like maybe 30 kilometers into the bush, and then our block's maybe like 8 kilometers in, and then
So the Leo Creek Road, that is north of Fort St. James, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've been on the road, you know, for about 12, 13 hours today? Or?
Oh no, not today. Today was a short one, so it's about 9 3/4.
Well, still a long way to go.
It's a short day. Hours. That's a short day.
So the other thing that wonders me, because you know, with all due respect, I think you don't look to me overly muscular. You know, you're a beautiful lady, and now all of a sudden something happens on the way, and you're gonna have to chain up.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you have double sets of chains.
Yeah.
They must weigh 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
You just do it. You just gotta stay pretty fit, I would say, for the job, especially as a female, I'd say. They are pretty heavy, but you know, there's a technique to it too. And once you have that down packed and you have a system, it maybe takes like maybe 5-6 minutes to.
So you have you know exactly what you're doing. You get the double chain and you go like boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of and you have 5 minutes each. I think that's pretty good. And then the other thing that I always admire is that going to logging trucks, they have to put those wraps over top. Now you could.
The wrappers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could be about 14 feet high. Yeah. So how do you get them over the top? Again, technique.
This is one of my struggles, actually. So I sometimes I have 3 wrappers to throw because I have long logger, and sometimes I'll throw them about 12 times. Yeah. But I want to, like, I'm definitely way better than when I first started. I'd sit out there forever and try to throw my wrappers, and I just keep trying and trying. Yeah. And the little one would say, "Do you want me to throw them for you?" And I'm like, "No, I need to learn."
Well, you want to be able to do it. You
don't
want
I want to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
You, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so I throw my whole body into it. Bend my knees, get the movement, and just wing it over.
And then cinching them up, you know, because throwing them over top is one thing. Now you get them there. Now you have to cinch them, right? With a bar or?
Yeah, most of the time I use a bar unless I forget it somewhere. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, after you get the cinch on, then you get them as tight as you can. So you get it it's like a breaker bar basically, and you pull it down. And
now driving highway is one thing, but once you get off on a logging road, then all of a sudden it's much narrower, and then there could be other trucks, and I've been in logging roads where my God, they move, and then how does that go? Do you call the kilometers, or you're on the radio and you calling kilometer, or how does that do?
Yeah, or
you say, hey, I'm the Malagur Megroen?
No, I don't say the Malagur. When you're going up, when you're empty, you are to clear the loaded trucks coming down. Yeah. So you stay silent unless sometimes going up the bush road there'll be must call signs, and that's when you would call your kilometer. And then
kilometers going either down or up, right?
So yeah, if it's a must call sign, you have to call it either way. Yeah. But then loaded trucks, they call every second kilometer down, unless it's like certain roads, you'll call every kilometer.
There's a certain protocol that goes with it,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So you just call down at
and
whatever,
then they know each other as well, right? You remember. You know, it's just like air traffic in a way. You develop an ear for radio communications.
Yeah,
right?
you actually. So sometimes you'll recognize people's voices. You'll know what their trucks look like, and you know their truck and their voice on the radio. But then you see them in person, you have no idea who they are.
Yeah. So you're an anomaly because you do that. You know, you by now you're already very, very good at that. You have been doing it for quite a while. The other thing that I want to talk to you about a little bit is, you know, some people would say, log hauling was always looked at as a big guy's game, you know, and you don't have to be muscular or large or able to do it. You do it, and you do it well, without any problems. So it should inspire other people to say, oh, I would be able to do that?
Absolutely. Like, I would say, obviously, good things don't come easy.
No,
and
nor should they.
If anybody is ever interested in coming into this industry, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. And you're going to work more hours in a week than the average person works in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
so you work sometimes 70 hours a week, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, that's the week, and then you fix the trucks on the weekends and work in the shop or the office, and you know what I mean? So
it's not for the faint of heart or anybody that wants to work
no, definitely not.
hours.
You got to be passionate, you have to have work ethic, a good attitude, and and you can do really well, I think.
Now you're also in good shape, right? So you go, are you into fitness and you go to the gym?
Yeah, so I previously, like when I was growing up, I was very athletic and into sports. And as I got older and just where my job became more of a priority, I had to kind of like settle down in the sports because I was getting injured a little bit. And so I guess I would say I'm kind of retired.
but you were into lacrosse, and especially at the level that you were in, you know, it's not for the faint of heart either, right? So it gets, you know, that's a very exhausting sport, and sometimes you know, you develop injuries.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an intense sport, but it's so much fun, and I got the opportunity to play with at one point my dad, all three of my brothers, and I were on a team, so that was like a super cool experience.
Neat, eh?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I thought, you had been into soccer as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
and when you were in grade 12 and fairly high up as well, right? You want to.
Yeah, our grade 12 soccer team went to Hawaii for a tournament.
Wow, from Prince George? It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, from Prince George.
Wow.
I mean, Hawaiian teams are very good. They play all year round, but it was an amazing experience, and yeah, glad I got to be a part of that.
Yeah. So if you were talking to somebody and saying, if you're very ambitious in terms of where you want to go, and what would you suggest to any young person as they look for a career? Obviously, you know, as we all know, the forest industry has had challenges, you know, and still is going through challenges, but there is, I still believe, a very, very good future in the forest industry. And then especially in a changing industry where you see more and more people, the industry is somewhat changing in terms of what we do, in the terms of the logging, and the seasons are somewhat shorter, but are longer. You know, sometimes during the summertime you may not be hauling or trucking logs necessarily. Would you then be doing something different?
Yeah, I think from a business point of view, I think the important thing is to be innovative and diversified. So when the times are slow in logging, then you have other options, so your trucks aren't parked, so they're still making money from different avenues, you know what I mean? Because there's so many opportunities for trucks and whatnot. It's not just logging, although that's probably, I think it's probably one of the funnest things. I don't know if I'd really want to do anything else trucking full time.
You really enjoy it, don't you?
I love it. It's my calling, I think.
So as you look forward for you in a career in northern British Columbia, you see your career not only in the forest industry but also in the general hauling of commodities, or involved with trucks, because your family is so much into trucks, right? Yeah,
and we already kind of have the networking. I honestly, I want to be, as a 30-year-old, I want to be the most successful 30-year-old in Prince George when I'm 30, or maybe even northern BC. And I'm always constantly looking for like when I meet people, I'm saying, oh, maybe this person could be a business partner, because I want to team up with someone and I want to create something super huge as like local people from northern BC. And I say this because I hope that maybe I can influence or inspire people that are kind of like-minded to me, that anything is possible, and honestly, you're the creator of your own life, and you can do whatever you want. You just gotta be passionate, work hard, and be willing to put in those hours, and never limit yourself, you know what I mean? You're your own biggest limitation. You gotta really, really believe in yourself, because no one else is gonna believe in yourself like how you do, you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. And so in your family, you have other siblings that are also in the industry? Yeah, so I have my older brother Josh, He's a very, very key person in the company. He's like my dad's right-hand man, manages, dispatches, works in the shop, drives the trucks, like anything and everything. He's a very knowledgeable person. And then my oldest brother, Dustin, he just started driving with us this year. And then my younger brother, Mark, he works in the shop occasionally. But he works full-time for another company, but he helps out too.
Right. And so you see them pretty much getting into the business and then building it from here on.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's definitely a future in this for actually all of us kids. I mean, my dad's created something so like amazing, basically from the ground up as well. You know what I mean? Like he's done a really good job at giving us a bright future and giving other people jobs, and you know what I mean? And I hope that I can be just like my dad, but maybe 10, 15, 20 times bigger. Yeah. Shoot for the stars.
So you're kind of already dreaming of, you know, where do you go and what does it look like 5, 10 years from now?
Absolutely.
And building maybe even your own company.
Yeah.
Maybe together with your brothers and.
Yeah, definitely. I wanna get into, like, I definitely want to be involved in truck and have a company that I can, maybe it's my family's company, maybe we do it together, maybe I have a spur off of what Mala Trucking is. But then I wanna also dip into other businesses too, so I can, like, just different investments and have different businesses on the go.
Yeah, you see, sometimes I look at you and then you know, and then you work so hard, you know, the 70 hours a week, and then you go to the gym. You don't have much time for anything else, you know. So you're still thinking in terms of going back to getting additional schooling, or do you do that most on your own?
I don't know. Like I don't. If I had something that I knew would benefit the company that I could take the time out of my day-to-day job and go do for school, then I would go to school.
Right.
But as of now, I'm a worker, to be honest. Like I did average in school. I didn't excel, I didn't fail, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like average, but I didn't enjoy it. Yeah. I've started working when I was 13, and I'm a hands-on person. I love working. I'm obsessed with working. And so I mean, I think schooling could be maybe something more like continuing education, where it would be like because I've done some like management courses and whatnot, so maybe something like that, where I could still work, but do a little bit of education on the side kind of thing.
Yeah. And the, do your family has a shop then where all the trucks are in town, or?
Yeah, it's just on the west side of Prince George, heading towards Vanderhoof.
Yeah. And that's a beehive of activity, I'm sure, because if you have 12 trucks, usually what happens with trucking is that you drive all week and all weekend you work on the trucks to make sure they are ready for the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a mechanic who like helps us out an incredible amount, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always something to do. Like if there's downtime, there's stuff to be getting done. Like there's not much free time really.
So tell me, where's Ashley going to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now in her career? You love the outdoors, you love Northern BC from what I've talked to you about, and so you see yourself in a business or maybe in a number of businesses. You sound to me you're very ambitious, you're very goal-oriented, you have a fantastic attitude, and to me, but it's always important, it's one of the things that I always say, the 3 pillars in my life are attitude, passion, work ethic. You seem to have all of those in abundance.
I try to be optimistic about everything too and keep a positive attitude. I'd say 5-10 years, CEO, I don't know. It's just, no, I hope to have multiple businesses going, definitely in 10 years. In 5 years, for sure, have like a good solid foundation of maybe 1 or 2 businesses. You know, the thing is, like, I want to launch probably 3 different businesses by the time I'm 30.
Yeah.
I don't care if they fail, I don't care if they succeed, but I mean, probably even you know yourself that like when you look into super successful people and people that have really done really well in their lives, they didn't just succeed. They tried so many times and they failed. You know what I mean?
It's getting up that makes you strong.
Exactly, right. And then getting back up after you fail, or you know what I mean. So like, you gotta lose that fear and just wing it and just try and take those risks and you know what I mean.
Well, the biggest asset that you have is you have a very positive attitude. You know what you want, and that's another key, is that the earlier in life you can kind of develop the goals, then you can direct all your energy in that direction. And obviously what you have done already as a pioneer in the forest industry, really, you know, what you are doing, and there is a few other ones, but not many, that makes it an anomaly, and it should be an inspiration for a lot of people now looking at the industry in general, but particularly at the forest industry, that more and more opportunities will open up because the industry is changing, and that means more opportunities both for males and females that want to build a career.
Absolutely.
And you know, and I'm sure you will be one of them.
Yeah, I hope that more women and even people that are just passionate about the industry get into it. You know what I mean? Because my dad is he loves he definitely hires women all the time because he claims that they're easier on the equipment and they do a good job. You know what I mean? So it's super cool to have a supporting family that supports that too.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like to see, and people like you in particular that are trailblazers or pioneers in a certain area, is to talk to other young people, not only girls but also boys that you know, as they go through grade 12 and are kind of thinking about career opportunities. You certainly would be an inspiration for all of those in terms of career opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be really cool.
But one of the things that we have to tell them is that you know, I always say that you know, the working 70 hours a week for entrepreneurs or people that aspire to success is nothing out of the ordinary. So you have to learn to sleep fast.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so it's probably less than what the ordinary is for people that want to.
Yeah, but then again, that is there are benefits, like you every day. It appears to me from the time that I've known you, every day to you is another challenge, and you love to go to work and you know, and do the things that you love to do.
Definitely, yeah.
And then in your off time, you're still going to the gym, you stay in shape, and then you love the outdoors, and then obviously you have good family relations and lots of activity around the house, you know, keeping the trucks running. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, going to the gym, keeping in shape, because, you know, like sometimes driving truck, you sit a lot, so it's probably not the healthiest on the body and the joints, and you know what I mean. So you have to keep in shape, and after your shift of, like, on a normal day, a minimum of 12 hours, you're not physically exhausted, you're mentally exhausted. So you really gotta challenge yourself and discipline yourself to make sure you go work out or make sure you do something. And some days, like, you're so tired and you've gotten barely any sleep, so then, like, sometimes I'll like work out on the road, I'll do lunges, squats,
and that was another thing that I thought was interesting, because
chin-ups on the cinches.
Yeah, I'm in the gym and there you're doing burpees on the road, or push-ups or plank or whatever, you know, so your mind is set on you know, staying fit, and the key is always to stay fit physically, mentally, and you know, and enjoy every day, and that makes you unique. And I'm sure that in the future you will be you know, a pioneer in other things that you do, and it has been a delight to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being on my show. And thank you for watching. Again, this was one of our interesting programs where we had Ashley Sidhu, a trailblazer really, and a log truck operator, and extremely successful. Thank you for watching.